So as we're here, give your body a couple of good deep breaths. Imagine in your mind's eye that you could trace your prana. So trace the life force flowing in our body. Maybe you visualize this as the cardiovascular system, all the blood vessels going everywhere and that nice strong heart in the middle. Maybe you visualize this as more like the nervous system, all the nerves traveling all over the body and that nice electricity that passes through to make action happen. But however you visualize prana flowing through your body, imagine that as you take a breath, it's like a little shot of light traveling down that system. And as you're scanning through your system, taking these deep breaths, notice if there's tight spots. Our hope and our goal is to help to ease some of that tightness out. Sometimes I visualize that tightness as darkness. So imagine we're beginning to move through class. So some of our initial stretches will take here. Let's begin to stretch the arms all the way to the back wall. And the shoulders can start to wiggle to the right, like a big banana shape. And shoulders wiggle to the left. Just back and forth 2 or 3 times. Get those shoulders, get the ribs. Every sensation that you feel, imagine it's an opportunity for the channel of prana to widen. So the spots that are too narrow, that are not that helpful, imagine this is giving it more space, more life force, more breath, more oxygen passing right. Good. So as we turn our spine back to the center, take your right hand to the chest, and let's do a couple of nice little ankle rolls. Sometimes there's snap, crackles, and pops that you can get out of the ankles right away. Beautiful. So let's extend this leg up to sky. Grab on wherever you can reach. We're stretching through hamstring area. The spinal column is a very thick column that goes down the vertebrae. And it starts to do spaghetti noodles out, little nerves everywhere. And there's a especially big bundle that leaves toward the low back. It's where the spinal column wraps up. And it turns into just a bunch of those little hairs, nerves traveling everywhere. It's called the cauda equina, or the horse's tail, because it looks like just the hairs of a horse's tail going everywhere. And that's what innervates our legs and our hips. So let's head to a hip opener here. So this right foot is the back left. And then you'll slide the shin in if you're confused as with other people. But you can feel how much sensation goes on here, how many muscle groups are attached here. So just breathe with huge inhales and exhales. Something to open up these channels as well. 2 or 3 more deep belly breaths. This last inhale, go extra deep into belly space. With the exhale, we'll extend the leg all the way back up to sky again. Feel that sensation on back of leg. Nice inhale. Exhale, this leg drops all the way down. So then left knee comes into chest. Do a couple of nice ankle rolls. You feel like you've gotten all those little cracks and pops out. Stretch leg up to sky. Imagine literally the sensation that you're feeling. Imagine that's part of that cauda equina, part of the horse's tail. Imagine you can feel all those little hairs or the channels letting prana pass through. Feel sensation all the way down the hamstring, all the way down the calf, all the way to even the toes. Keep breathing deep into belly, light being invited into the body with each inhale. Relaxing exhale. And we'll hook this left heel to the back right and slide the shin in. Keep on breathing. Another huge inhale. Relaxing exhale. The leg extends back up to sky, little pull. And we'll start to drop this foot down. Let yourself grab the fabric and only sit up to the point where fabric is coming just past armpits. So not too deep of a back bend. Arms start to spread open like bird wings to each side. Let the heart lift up, let the head rock back. Easy back bend. Couple of breaths there. Imagine all sorts of hunched postures we tend to take in life that blocks off some of the significant prana areas. This is helping to unwind from that. Deep breath in. And exhale. Beautiful. Tuck the chin back in. We're going to come all the way up to sit and stretch over these two straight legs. Pull that low back area, getting its first chance to stretch. Okay. This one up here, I want to do that. Can I do that? It's fine. Is this your first time? No. Okay, good. Okay. You'll notice as you're in this forward fold, you'll notice if you bend your knees, it makes it a little bit easier. If you work on straightening your legs, it makes it a little easier. That doesn't look bad to me. Does that like that'll work for you? Yeah. Okay. Sometimes I'll purposely straighten my legs just a little bit more. Let the heavy rocking just a little bit to the right shoulder, just a little bit to the left shoulder. And let's circle our right arm to the sky. Travel it all the way to point to the back wall for a little spinal twist. Take a bonus breath here, nice inhale. Easy exhale. And this arm returns forward. Lean forward, forward fold. Second side, left arm circles up. Elbow back, pause in the twist. And return all the way forward. Let the head drop heavy, just a couple more breaths right here. Good. Head starts to roll back up. Here we're gonna prepare for a vampire pose, and those that are comfortable, I'll also give you a variation going into the splits on the ground, but we'll get everybody into vampire first. So what we're doing is taking the fabric that's behind us, and we're making it so just one thin layer is a complete cap sleeve over the shoulders. We don't want a bunch of extra on the neck or it'll push into the neck. So your elbows help to gather the excess to your waist, and then you lay back, your head is past the end. So if you're at the shoulders, all the excess is brought down to the feet. So step the feet in, lift the hips up, and then slide all the excess down. You want to cover up the right leg with the excess, the left leg is free. Okay, so you've got just plenty to cover the shoulders. And if you're confused, by the way, just pause and I'll be by shortly. But you reach up high left and right.
Yeah, make sure you don't, it will hold your shoulder.
Go ahead and bring right leg in, left leg out. If you're confused, don't worry, I'll stop by just a moment. So you'll pike your feet up, press your feet into the fabric, and then with that press, you rise upside down. Good. Let me do a little safety check for a couple. All over here. You do have a little bit extra, so a little bit. All the way up. Okay, good job, everybody. So what we're going to do to come into the full splits pose, and it might be make you nervous the first time, but just trust the fabric, it'll get you. What you'll do from this right leg covered, left leg free, is hike your right foot to the space in front of your chest. One that's covered. So the other one stays up where it was, that nice safety point. So once your foot can't go down any further, I call that an anchor, because you could literally step with it. So then your left foot can step all the way safely to the floor. Good. Further. Further. Good. Sink your weight backwards like a splits action. If you want more, you hop your front foot forward, and that would allow you to get just a little bit deeper. So try not to let the shoulders go free of the fabric. I can stop by to help put them back in if you lost it. Try to give this side 1 or 2 more good deep breaths. Visualize the prana opening up these channels. Good. When you're ready to switch sides, the foot that's on the ground will hop into the pocket. So you're like a flying upside down plank. You're welcome to hold that plank position if you want a little core challenge, but then you'll eventually step your second foot down. Right back to walking up the guard. Up. Two more breaths, just opening up this side nice and deep. I love this one for how I can just sink my weight into gravity. Work. So from here, we'll prepare to come back in. So you'll step both feet into the little pocket. If your head needs a little break, roll your hips all the way in to lay down. Give your head a little break. Anybody who wants to get upside down in vampire pose for a little bit longer, or you just want to, get back into it, that's all good. Feel free to come back in. You're okay. Takes a little bit of practice. Good. So vampire or just little shavasana break. Many people come to aerial yoga for this inversion time to get to be upside down. This one in particular, vampire pose, helps the shoulders because our whole body weight is pressing the shoulders away from the ears. So just enjoy it if you're there. Play with other variations or kind of practice getting into it again if you wish. Use this as just a minute or so of your own body's time to be present. Good. So it looks like more or less we're all heading out. So give your head some time. Sometimes you just know I need 3 or 4 breaths before it would be safe for me to sit up. So give yourself time. You'll start sitting up when your head feels like it's good, it's prepared, it could move on. No rush to get to that point. Eventually, if you're in the floating child pose before others, just relax. Let the weight of the head be heavy forward. That stretches through the back of the neck. You still need some rest, recovery time. That's fine. The rest of us will take a nice little twist. So bunch up the fabric toward where we came in, the front door. And then your shoulder that's closer to the back wall, that shoulder, that arm opens up to the back wall, or it can circle around the back side of the head. Other way. Good. The spine spiral around. There's a chance to open the vertebrae. Again, visualizing that spinal column that we talked about. Twist help me personally to feel that channel. Opening it up. So one more huge inhale to this direction. Nice exhale. As we release, take the twist to the other side. So bunch up fabric to the back door. Again, the arm that's closer to that painted mountain wall, that one opens up or circles around the back side of it. If ever you feel like you're hunched a little bit, reset your spine tall before you go deeper. One more belly breath in. Out. Beautiful. We're returning forward. 2 ways to get out. Option 1, just kind of tilt your legs up briefly and then you'll tilt forward to the floor. Option 2 is a flip. So that would be a tight grip, left and right. I like to have my hands around shoulder height, and then I'd slowly pike the feet up and let myself flip all the way backwards. So your choice. Either way, we're just getting out. Beautiful. Let's leave the fabric over the front of shoulders. We're circling the hands above the head. I like to go twice. So 1, 2, and then it falls in your hands. So from here, leave the feet where they are, but the hips get to go backwards. Sink your weight into it. So it's almost like it's pulling you in a figure V shape. So from here, we'll start to circle the hips to your right side. Sometimes I'll pause at this cardinal direction. And then I'll pause as I circle the hips forward. Pause to the other side and back, and just keep going to this direction. You can go slow like this, or maybe you start to speed it up a little bit. A huge hula hoop. Eventually, your fingers will need a little break, so when you reach that point, come up to the center, wiggle your fingers out. When you're ready, sooner or later for second direction, go ahead and lean back. Again, take the first one slow. So each of the 4 cardinal directions, you pause for a moment. After you've taken that first circle, if you'd like to speed it up, that's fine, but you don't have to. Especially feel that heart space a little bit more willing to open than we were that first back bend that we took. Takes a little while for the spine. Similar, we just keep going until you feel like your hands need the break, and then this time we'll take it all the way out. Perfect. No rush to get there. When your hands are satisfied, you're out. Take the fabric out in front of you again. Let the upper body go forward, hips go backward, figure L. Try to relax the low back area. Imagine the sitting bones. Sometimes we kind of tuck them in. like a dog tucking its tail. So instead, try to flatten the low back, point the sitting bones to that ball behind you. Start to swing the right leg directly behind your hip. It's lifted like a warrior 3. Very slowly, we're going to take the right elbow to the right knee. Try to touch. And then when you straighten back out, take it like a Cheerio. Now the right arm is straight, the left elbow bends. We try to see how close we can get our toes to that left elbow. Good. Let's go back and forth very slowly. 3 more times like that. So flatten back out where you're free. Then bend right knee to right elbow. And straighten back out. Cheerio slowly behind us. Left elbow. And flatten back out. Twice more. Knee. And toes. One more. Knee. And toes. Beautiful. This right foot, as you start to set it down, set it in front of the left foot. Give the hands a little break, slide them into prayer position. And we're taking pyramid pose. Just a nice, easy stretch over that straight right leg. If you want to lift the whole ball of the right foot up, that can allow you to get into calf a little bit deeper. But sometimes it kind of jams the bones into the ground. So it's not necessary if you don't want to. Beautiful. Soft bend to both knees. Roll the spine back up. This right foot slides back next to the first. And we're returning back to figure L. Maybe the low back is feeling just a little bit more easeful than that first moment. Low back is a little bit flatter. So let's start to swing that left leg to be the floating at the space behind the hip. Okay, so we've got 4 cycles. Left elbow to left knee, both are bent, trying to touch one another. Straighten left arm back out. And then toes come to try to touch the bent right elbow. And flatten back out. Another 3, elbow and knee. And flat. Elbow toes. And flat. 2. And 2. 1. And 1. Good. And as you start to set the left foot down, step it in front of the right. Flatten back forward. Hands can slide to prayer position. Relax. If you lift up all of it, maybe you do so again. No pressure to do so. Sometimes I just want to ease into the hamstring with 2 straight legs. Inhale. Exhale, soft bend to the knees. Start to roll the spine up. We're gathering the fabric in front of us like a little belt. Bring the fabric up to the hip bones. Even come up to tippy toes if you need to. Walk forward to take some slack out. Bend at the waist. We're dropping hands to floor. Make sure it didn't slide into guts, otherwise you'll want to reset. Couple of step stacks brings you under palm line. And from this palm line space, we're going to try to take standing split. So right leg kicks wide so that you catch the outside of the fabric. So wrap the right toes around the outside. Once you get the foot there, you'll start to slide the right foot up. Option to hop the left foot closer if you still need more space. I'll help anybody who needs the breath. Yeah. Reach. Keep this one close. Sorry. That's okay, that's okay. You're just working on where you're feeling the stretch, basically. We'll be here just a little bit longer on this side. If there's anybody that reached the full splits, meaning hopping your other foot forward, perhaps you try to float the foot off the ground and then both hands grab that left foot. So you're a huge stretch. That one's only if you got to the full range. A few more. Got 2 or 3 more breaths. Not today, that's okay. I love that attitude. That's all it takes. It's just one day on it. When you're ready to switch, we have to reverse everything that we did. So if you are floating, you need to return hands down, pop the foot back, and then you have to slide the right foot close to the boot before a gentle release. Switching sides, left leg kicks wide to remind you to catch the outside of fabric. Whenever you've gotten there, sooner or later, see if there's space to slide the leg up. Maybe space to hop right foot closer. Stay here for a little while before you do the floating, just to bring your body in good balance. That's okay, I'll help you. We'll hop the other one back again. Try hopping it forward. Just a little. There, good. Okay, if you wanted to grab for the foot, go ahead. It's a challenge, you're doing awesome. More breaths. Again, reverse every step to slowly come out. Anybody who wants to stay in the hip hang just a little longer, you can lift up both feet and give the shins a hug. Anybody who is like, oh, my head needs a break, you'll start working your feet slowly and flat on the floor. Eventually roll your head up and then get the fabric behind you so you can rest for a moment. No pressure. It takes time to build up to inverting, so no worries. If you're out of the hip hang before others, let your hands come behind the head and you'll just slowly bend one knee, trying to touch elbow to knee, and slowly switching sides, getting into that huge side body stretch. Give your head some time, no rush. Optional back bend in the center. I like to walk my feet just a little further forward for a back bend. And then you just start opening your arms to each side. The fabric be a bit further down than it was before, so maybe shoulder blades still or maybe into the waist. Chin opens if that's comfortable for the neck. You can just keep a hold of the fabric the whole time. That feels safer for the low back. Good. As head starts to lift, walk your feet all the way forward until hips are under the plumb line, under the metal plexus. And then give your back a little counter stretch from that back bend by dropping the hips low. So meaning release any core strength. There's a chance to ease into our hips a little bit more. What we can do is straighten the legs and then circle the knees outward to swing forward. So knees straight to go back, circling out to go forward. So the hips gradually opening up their joint. We're going to be starting to work into the hips a bit more. Take another 3, 2, 1. Good. Straightening the legs. Let's walk our feet all the way backwards. Dive yourself free of the fabric and let it swing in. That's a good chance for water if you need a little water break. Take your time. Whenever you're done, you're ready to move on. You're gonna step your right foot in the step out. Your knee is in the center. It's going past where the end of the fabric is. Your left hand grabs the heel, lifts the heel up. It could go level to the floor if your knee is still comfortable there, but you could have a higher angle just to protect it. That's perfectly fine. So grip lightly about the shoulder height, and just a matter of 2 or 3 inches sinking forward gets you into a nice hip stretch. You'll notice leaning forward could be comforting for the low back versus sliding the hands up and arching back would be more of a heart opener. So you can choose if there's one of those variations that feels extra good. Let's slowly take our weight back over standing leg. Keep the arch of the foot here, but slide the foot back to the center. The hands can slide up high. We're working on straightening the leg. If being right here is plenty of stretch, that's fine. If you're ready to start sinking some of your weight forward, that can allow you to get a bit deeper into the hamstrings. Yeah, if you're ever going to a weird angle, you can hop your standing foot to a slightly different spot, and that'll change the angle that your front leg goes into. No forcing, but just an opening quality. Imagining those channels. There's a bunch of the Chinese meridian channels that start at the feet and travel up the legs. So another good breath. Huge inhale. Nice exhale. And returning over the standing foot, bend this knee. Slide the hand up high. We're going to take a brief tree pose. So we're coming to swing, to stand inside without swinging if possible. This left foot is behind. It swings around that left side. And then once you've got it kind of locked in place, then your left elbow and then your left shoulder comes forward. It feels funky until it's there. And then you realize, oh, I'm held in place by having the left shoulder forward. If it wants to go a little higher, that's fine. Give the hands a little break, even rolling the fingers out if you need to. Pull the wrists. 2 more breaths, relaxing into the fascia of the feet. Right hand comes up for safety. Left hand grabs on as soon as it can. Then both feet step in the middle. From here, 3 times, we lower down like we're about to squat. Kind of straighten both legs in front of you, I'll sit. Then arm strength pulls us back up. Good, bend knees. 2, straightening legs, pull up. Good. And 1. If, by the way, the leg extension part is a little too hard, just work on going up and down with the bent knees. Beautiful. Try to grip on as tight as you can. Bring both feet behind and try to slowly use arm strength to low. That's how we build it, just step by step. Okay, left foot steps inside. Make the knee go past the line of fabric. Grab the heel of the right hand, start to pull the foot up to the point that's still from the upper knee. Just a light grip here, shoulder height, a couple of inches sinking forward to get into hips. Yeah, don't fall over. If ever you feel like you're about to fall, slide your hands high, by the way. That's a little trick because you can catch yourself if it's a high grip. If it's a low grip, you can't catch yourself till you're like an inch above the ground. Same variation we did before, so maybe you're leaning forward or maybe you slid the hands up to arch a little bit. Play with Same thing, keeping the body in good balance. Okay, weight comes back over standing foot. Standing up on our own, the foot just slides to the center. Hands are up high, leg is straightening. Sometimes this is plenty of stretch, so you don't have to do anything more, but sinking weight any amount forward can invite it just a bit. Keep breathing, each breath inviting more light down our channels. More inhale, and next exhale. Good. Weight comes over standing leg, a bent knee that allows us to use core strength and arm strength so that we are trying to minimize swinging as we come up. Right leg is behind the fabric, so wrap it around the right half. And then once you've got that wrapped, right elbow and shoulder comes forward. Up the foot a little bit higher. Good. Beautiful. Breathe into the fascia. Do a few finger wiggles or wrist circles. Take them. More inhale. Exhale, left hand grips for safety. Right hand grabs as soon as it can. Shoulder comes back behind. Both feet step in the middle. Another attempt at the challenge. It could be, again, just bent knees up and down. If you're doing the full thing, 3 of them, we're lowering first. Legs straighten, arm straighten, pulls up. We're getting stronger step by step. It's okay, it's okay. You caught yourself too. And up. 1. Good. You needed to wiggle fingers for a second, that's okay. We're trying to grip tight. See if you can lift both feet. Slowly lift. Keep it. Even do a nice little wrist stretch. So right hand takes a stop sign signal. Left hand pulls all the fingers and the thumb back. And the same hand, right hand, fingers dip down, left hand pulls back that way. Roll this wrist or shake it out, whatever feels good. Okay, left hand stop sign, pull back. Fingers down, pull that way. Roll or shake. Beautiful. So we did some of that prep work, practicing getting up and down, because that's how we approach this next inversion. And note, if you're ever like a more of a new person and your head is like, I don't want to invert again, what you'll do is just lean back instead, and I'll give you some variations once I instruct everybody else into it. But for this inversion, you're stepping 1 foot in, the knee is swivel open. That's our starting position. We grip up high, and the goal will be to set the other foot exactly touching the bottom of this foot. Both feet come in. Good. Next step is both shoulders come through the front, and then you can grab on the fabric high or low. This is a stopping spot if you don't want to get any further. Just relax right here. The last steps for the inversion are you need to grab a thumbs down grip under your armpits. Try to keep it as high as possible because too low and your fingers might get stuck. But you're pushing the fabric past one hip bone and past the other hip bone and relax it all the way to the end. one can be intense on the inner thighs at first. My recommendation, try to just breathe into it. If it's so intense you need to come out, don't worry about it. It gets better over time. Again, if you're not so much into it today, just relax that part of the spot. If ever anybody feels stuck, by the way, I can just wave at me and I can help them out. So. Good. Pull shoulders through. Thumbs down, get close to the armpits. Then I'll kind of lean to one side, get it past the hip bone. So you need to kind of lean forward and then get it past your hip bone. Basically, it's in front right now. Try to get it just a little wider and then a little. Good. Relaxing your hands out if you feel comfortable. I can help you come out later if you feel stuck. Just let me know before you get to the panic point. Good. I like that attitude. You're like, we're good. This is one of my favorite inversions, but it is intense the first time, oftentimes. So don't feel like you have to force through too much pain.
So
it's like a deep tissue massage. Yep. So you'll go up there. As you start to lift, you'll walk your hands a little higher. And then you're trying to swivel your feet this way. Tuck inside. Tuck your feet in. Yep. Yep. Got it. Got it. You're almost there. Got it. Okay, so you're good. You're good. You're good. So try to tuck your feet in as you walk your hands a little higher. You're good. You're good. I'll help you. Walk your hands higher as you come up. Yep. I need some. Hold for a moment. That's okay. I got you. Hands higher. Hold for a moment. Give your head a break. When you're ready to step out, I usually extend one. Yeah, that works. You guys all got it. Good, good, good. Okay, let's come back to the fabric under our shoulder blades. We're walking back forward to the chair. Let's give those inner thighs a nice little moment. So start to heel toe your feet nice and wide. Hands come to the inner knees. Try to help to press it open. Again, the weight is relaxing down rather than trying to hold our whole core up. Good work, guys. You did awesome efforts. Especially those that are new. Some of these poses are not the easiest, so you did awesome. Let's straighten our right leg. Pull that right leg lengthen. I like to have the toes either pointed or they're upward rather than forward. Good. Pull that inner thigh, getting a nice stretch. Beautiful. Back to two bent knees, second side. Beautiful. Back to the center. We're going to grab up high and then softly help to lower one knee and then the other down. As the arms open back, you can either kind of lean back for a simplified version of camel or lean forward for almost like a camel cobra variation. The light grip on helps to support our spine to be back in the middle. Free yourself of the fabric. And then child pose, either hands in prayer position in the fabric, or if you prefer, hands to the ground is also that nice relief through low back. Spine comes up to the center. These last couple of poses, you can continue to use fabric each time or not. It'll be up to you. We're going to keep the left foot tucked to the side, and we're straightening the right leg out in front of us. Good. So first, we'll head backward for this left quad stretch. So if you're using fabric, I like to slide my grip up higher at first. And then if you still want to go deeper, you'll start to slowly lower yourself back. If you don't look quite in the quad stretch yet, you scoop your tailbone under just a little bit, that'll be right. The frontal line's even here. One more inhale. Exhale, chin tucks in. If you've still got the fabric arm shake, pull up. And then change it to a nice prayer position. Rest as you lean forward over straight. So rising up, we're going to start switching the legs. So left straight, straight tucks back to the side. Nice high grip as we're heading backwards to the quad stretch. Slowly let fabric slide down to the point that you're satisfied with. Little tailbone scoop never hurts. I even like to keep the grip because it's almost like it pulls my shoulder blades away into just a gentle shoulder stretch. A nice inhale. Exhale. Chin tucks in, rise. Hands in prayer position inside. Stretch over that straight back leg. Rise back up, unwind both legs, plant them about just a little bit wider than your mat. And again, hands in prayer position, just easy lean forward. Sometimes I'll take a grip, just a little bit of separation between the hands. That can help me sway my torso just a little bit past the right side. And a little bit past the left side. Sometimes that can help you keep some of those fingers out the low back. Or sometimes you just know intuitively staying in the center is the best. Just your practices. Deep inhale. The exhale. Here we'll start preparing for our Shavasana pose. So if anybody, you find yourself on the floor, you want to just lay back for a grounded version of Shavasana today, that's fine. Anybody who wants to head back inside, do all those same steps as before, wave it out, come to a floating Shavasana if you wish. Either way, nice restful spot. Fingers around the ground and the low back needs just a little bit more comfort. Sometimes sliding the feet into a planted position and then letting the knees fall into one another, that can feel really comforting. So know that that's a variation also. No rush to get into your Shavasana. When you're there, sooner or later, imagine again each inhale like a nice river line, like the light traveling through that river system. There's darkness, tightness that you still find in the body. Imagine it's your breath streaming out. It works that. So exhale helps to release some of the tight, stressful, dark spots. Light, prana, flowing through. Exhale, soft and release. Be here for a few more minutes, just breathing, letting our body integrate all the benefits of our practice. You begin to deeply inhale, and the exhale. Introduce little movements back to fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. Stretch out in ways that feel really good for the body. Sometimes if I'm in the fabric, I'll stretch the arms to the back wall and let the shoulders wiggle left and right, just like at the beginning. Or in the fabric, I might take a fetal position by rolling onto one hip stacked on top of the other hip. And from there, you would be able to curl into a tight little ball, arc back. So either way, whatever wiggles feel helpful. Taking the next 30 seconds, the next minute or so, just slowly getting into the body. Sooner or later, it feels natural to come up to a comfortable seated place. No rush to get there, only when the body feels ready. Sooner or later, you're there. You'll eventually take the hands to the heart space. I know for myself, as I visualize those channels and those flashes of light traveling through, it's easy to think of the nervous system. So that incorporates the brain, and I think of the brain as this super lighted center. But with hands in front of the heart center, remember the heart also. It's almost like the heart is part of the deeper subconscious knowing, almost like the intuition. There's been studies that show that the heart can tell you little messages a couple of seconds before something bad happens. So that little intuitive knowing is also part of this pranic build. So with all this beautiful stretching, with this including more prana into our system, with all of this to help lead us on, let's wrap up the time we got to share together today. The sound of oh, deep inhale now. Being filled with light, happiness. Namaste.